The way the business started was my background has always been IT and technology. So I topped the state in IT in VCE, went on to do it at university in a course called Business Management.
Yeah.
As part of that, I got a scholarship to go study in Miami for a semester.
Okay.
When I got to Miami, all the international students were like, oh, we need a bar fridge, and then they're all like, yeah, let's go to Walmart. Walmart's meant to be the best and the cheapest and the most options, because in marketing we always learn about Walmart. So we get on the train and the bus, and it takes us an hour or so to get to Walmart. We find our bar fridge, and then it takes us a while to get it back to our dorm rooms. And we spend this whole day getting a bar fridge, and we're pretty happy by the end of it. The next day we see all the American kids, and they've got FedEx guys delivering their bar fridges. And so this is back in 2003, so we were like, okay. And then we had a chat to all the local American students, and not only did they not have to waste a whole day going to buy their bar fridge, they got them for about half the price.
Okay.
So at that point in 2003, I realised, well, this whole business model of not having all the overheads associated with a retail store can save people lots of money, even compared to like a Walmart, which you'd think would be doing it as efficiently as possible, but they still have these huge expenses with running a bricks and mortar store. Then I got back to Australia. I resumed a couple of positions I had earlier, so I worked at GE for a bit, then I worked at Accenture, and I was working at Accenture as a management consultant. I was earning some decent money, and I went to buy an LCD TV because I've always been into gadgets and always wanted the latest and greatest. So I do some shopping around, and I realised that even though I was earning a decent salary, I couldn't afford a TV.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally I started speaking to a few manufacturers in Asia and researching, exactly what is a TV. And I very quickly saw that what you could get to Australia for around $1,000, the big retailers were selling for $3,000. So I noticed this big gap in the marketplace. And within 4 days of that, I'd resigned from Accenture, built the Kogan website, started selling online. Initially, we had a website that didn't transact, and it had information about our products, and it linked to eBay. So the way that we were doing things on eBay is I had zero money when I started the business, so I needed to be assured of sales and cash flow. So we were putting up auctions at 1 cent no reserve and saying, well, whoever's the winning bidder will win the TV. The only catch at that time was it was a 45-day pre-sale. So we knew that. At this stage it was just me. I knew that, if you put a TV up at a 1 cent no reserve auction, it's a product that's in mass demand. It's going to get the right natural market price. And so we started selling like that. I could control how many I sell. And so because I had no money when I started, the first container was a 45-day pre-sale. The second container was a 30-day pre-sale, and so on. So the next one was 15-day pre-sale. Now we're in a position where at any given time we've got 20 to 40 containers worth of the latest technology on the water at any time. So it's growing pretty quickly from there. When I first started Kogan, and I started negotiating with quite a few manufacturers in Asia. And then when came down to crunch time, and I said, all right, ready to place my first order. And when I told them my order quantities, they were a bit shocked. They were like, oh, just one container? And I was like, yeah. I was really excited by it. I had no money. I couldn't order lots and lots. And they're like, look, our customers in the UK, in Europe, in America, they're ordering 50 to 100 containers at a time. Why would, your one container, we're all about mass production here. And they weren't interested in dealing with me. So I said, look, I promise them my business is going to grow, it's going to become really big, this is a new concept. And for them it was still like, we're going to set up a production line for one container. They weren't interested. So then I got this idea, because my view on business is that every transaction has to be win-win. When anyone purchases from Kogan or Milan Direct, we win and the customer wins, because they're getting a product that's better and better value than they could get anywhere else. So my general view on business is it's all about incentives. You've got to have the right incentive structure and a win-win. So I thought, how can I create a win-win out of this for that manufacturer? And then I got the idea that, I'm going to help them, because all their marketing material looked horrible. Even some of these huge multi-billion-dollar factories, they don't understand the Western way of business and how we present documents. And, I'd be getting sales documentation from them, and it'd have images all over the place, and, their spreadsheets would have 5 different fonts and sizes, and it just looked horrible, and half the writing was in Chinglish. So I said to them, I'm going to redo your documentation, and I stayed up one night and I redid all of it, and I made the English perfect, and I made it look really good, and I made all the images aligned, and it started to look like a really professional document.
Yeah.
And I sent that back to them in the morning, and I said, look, I know you don't want to do business with me, but just have a look at what I've attached to this email. The value in working with me isn't in my small order for my initial 1 container. The value is that I can help you as well. They replied straight away saying, thank you very much, Mr. Kogan. We want to work with you. This is really helpful. And then they replied about a week later saying that they've won a huge customer in America because of that documentation, and the customer said that they were by far the most professional factory they had dealt with. So, created that win-win structure, and as a result, the factory was willing to say, yes, we'll take your order that we normally wouldn't take. We'll give you even better prices that we'd initially quoted you. So that's how I managed to get it off the ground. So when I told people I'm going to start selling TVs online, they said, man, you're crazy, as if someone's going to buy a TV without seeing a TV. I want to see my TV before I buy it. And I try and explain to these people, and I said, well, look, you've got 4 or 5 companies in the world that make LCD panels. Now, no matter which one of the thousands of brands out there you buy, the panel's made by one of these companies like LG or Samsung. Even if you go and buy a Bang & Olufsen TV, it's using a Samsung panel. The technology used in these things is very similar amongst all the TVs. And I said, if I put all this information out there for the public to know, if I put it out there in the open and say to the people, well, here is the truth about this technology. Here is exactly what you're getting. Here are the specs. Here are the features. Go and line this up with any other product offering you have. I said, I think people will make the educated choice.